Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me this RGB one layer picture, and it's a PNG. And asked how you could draw that, and if you look at it kind of carefully, it's just continuously lines. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with an oval or a circle in the middle of the page. I'm going to hold down the control button to get a perfect circle. Then I'm going to draw a straight line, start moving and hold down the control button. And I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. And then I'm actually going to hit T and put it to the top. And then I'm going to select it again, Control D, Shift select the circle and hit B to put it in the bottom. So now I have two lines. I'm going to select that line. I'm going to Shift select the other line. So I have two objects selected. I counted, there's like 20 of them. I'm going to go to Effects and Blend, and I'm going to blend it 20 times. That might be too much, but we're going to go with it. It could be 18. But then you need to go to Object and break the blend apart, but you also need to go to Group or Object and ungroup it. Now, there's a couple of trains of thought that I was thinking about how to move these lines. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to nudge the lines out of the way, and that's actually perfect because I don't really want those lines per se. And I'm going to group these lines together, Control G, and then I'm going to, maybe I should have kept those lines, but we'll leave them. Then I'm going to go to Intersect. And what that did, that put lines in the center of kind of what we need. And I'm just hitting the arrow key. I'm going to hit the delete key. Now I'm going to hit P and put that in the center of the page. So my first thought was to draw an inner circle and then virtually delete every other line on each side. But I started thinking, if we take this and go up to Object and Group and ungroup it all, and that way we'll make sure this is a single line. We're going to set our nudge factor on, like, let's say a 1/4 of an inch at first and see what happened. I'm going to nudge that line to the left a 1/4 of an inch. Maybe not enough. Let's nudge it a 1/2 an inch. So change your nudge factor to 0.5. I'm going to grab that line. I'm going to nudge it to the left. I'm going to grab that line and nudge it to the right. I'm going to grab that line and nudge it to the left. It might be easier to do every other line to the left. That way you don't have to take your eye off the keyboard, or you can keep your hand on the left arrow key. So I'm just doing every other line. And I maybe should have kept those two first lines, but I think it's going to work without it. Let me zoom in here. And I know some of you are probably saying, well, what's that going to do? But you'll see in just a second. So now I'm going to nudge to the right every other line. So basically the lines that are still touching the object or touching the ellipse. And what that is doing, it's giving us a kind of a in and out effect. Whoop, didn't want to do that. And you could also probably move your circle out of the way. Well, I did that one twice. So that's pretty good. Now, what I can do is, I don't want to do the circle. So I'm going to nudge the circle out of the way. Let's see how big it is. So I'm going to nudge it out 10 inches. I'm going to grab the ellipse, nudge it out of the way, and I'm going to take these lines and I'm going to make them something other than a hairline. I'm going to say maybe a 1/4 of an inch. Ooh, too thick. That might work. But you also need to go, for this to work, and I'll show you, we're going to smart fill this in with blue right now. Now, look at that. It made the entire circle blue. So the reason I'm going to nudge this out of the way for a second. I'm going to take all these lines and go up to object and convert the outline to an object. Then when I do that with the Smart Fill tool, the lines stay in there. They're actually an object. I think that's going to look pretty good. So now what we're going to do, it's kind of hard to tell by the way, it just looks like they're orange, but it's a little bit more yellow on top. So we're going to turn this into an orange. And then we're going to grab the interactive fill tool and swipe up and turn this into a yellow. That looks pretty close. Now, what I should have done is, well, let's see how big this thing is. Let's make it an even number. Let's make it 8. Now I need to make another ellipse that is 8, holding down the control button. And we'll make that color. I don't think that's a Corel color. We can make it, well, let's just sample it. Let's get and I don't know if the colors really matter. Smart Fill tool, get your eyedropper, take a sample of that color and fill it in there. That's pretty close. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit P and put this in the center of the page. It already is. Hit P and put that in the center of the page. We don't really need an outline, so I'm going to delete it. Now, if you remember, our ellipse is 8 inches, so I'm going to set my nudge factor on 4, and I'm going to take this and move it out of the way. Now I need to see that's halfway, and that's about what that is. I'm going to go to Object, Order, Back of Page. Wow, that's pretty close. My lines are a little bit thicker, but whoever's doing this can play with that. Let's look at it on a gray background. Go up to Object, Order, Back of Page. And then that way it really shows off. But you can see the lines are dark from the inside, and then of course the gray ones are clear. Looks pretty good. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.